Hey everybody, my name is Marisa Alawine, and I'll be talking to you today about utilizing academic escape rooms in the classroom. Before we get too far into escape rooms, I want to tell you a little bit about me. So I am an instructor and student support specialist for the School of Psychology. And so basically I do some teaching of our resource-based classes, and I also do academic advising and mentoring for our students within the undergraduate psychology major. And so one of the classes that I teach is Psych 203, which is an orientation to the psychology major course. And so as part of this course, students are going to engage with their peers, they're engaging with faculty members, learning a little bit about the field of psychology, and then how just to be a successful psychology major, learning about resources within the School of Psychology as well as resources across campus that are helpful for psychology majors. And so I wanted to find a way to kind of bring all of that together in kind of a final review, and the way that I have done that is through the use of an escape room. So I had read some research around gamification in the classroom and how gamification can increase engagement. And so since that was one of the purposes of the course, I thought I would try this out, and it's worked really well so far. And so I want to share a little bit about that with you. And so at the end of the semester, during our review class, I break our students up into groups. And so each group ends up with a box. Now you can make this as all out as you want, or maybe not quite as all out. Either way is fine, but they get this little box, and so I have different group numbers. I'm gonna make my screen bigger. I give them group numbers and give them this little box. It has some little stickers that I made on Canva, and then just a little bit about their final challenge on here. As you can see, it also has this lock. This lock. And so basically, I give everybody the same first clue. That first clue is here. I'm going to move my camera up a little bit. And so if you read through the clue, basically this is asking how many hours do you need in order to complete your degree in psychology? And so the answer to that is 120. You need 120 credit hours. And so 120 is the code to unlock this little lock. And so once they open the container, there are a few things that they will find. So they'll find their next clue. We'll talk about that in a second. But they'll also find a couple of other things in the box that might be useful. So we have a couple of ciphers, different types like Morse code. There's a pen-peg cipher, things like that. So different little ciphers that they can use. They'll also have a pair of sunglasses. I'm going to make myself bigger again. So they have these little sunglasses that are red, and so once they get to this clue, they'll use these red sunglasses to be able to see the blue writing underneath there. They also have a blue light flashlight, which we'll get to in a minute as well. And they'll also have, a School of Psychology pencil and a little notebook that they can utilize as a group to kind of figure out some of the clues that they get along the way. And so their first clue will lead them to a location on campus. And so as an example, one of the clues leads to my office, and they scan this QR code, and when they scan it, it takes them to a Google form that is set up like a quiz. And so in that Google form, they'll have questions about the psychology major, things that they need in order to be successful as a psychology major. And then they have to type in the correct answer in order to get the next clue. Once they get the next clue, again, they'll use the ciphers and kind of determine what their next step is. Typically questions that I ask are about, different research labs, different faculty members on campus, different resources on campus. So it's all of these things that they've learned throughout the semester, transferable skills that they should kind of know by the end of class. It's kind of helping jog their memory for some of that stuff that we talked about earlier in the semester. So that's what they're utilizing. They can use any resources at their disposal to complete this. They can ask questions to faculty members or staff throughout, kind of the realm of the activity. And once they get to their final clue, they are directed to come back in to the main classroom where each group is given, let me see if I can pick it up without dropping it. Ooh, uh-oh. They are given this fun little puzzle. Now you might be thinking, this fun little puzzle is white, it's blank, right? Well, that is what our blue light is for. Now you can't really see it on here, so I'll maybe post a picture at the end, but it basically says, congrats, you have officially escaped from Psych 203. And so we do this in the final class, and it's a way for them to kind of connect with peers. They're working in groups, so it helps them kind of utilize some of the transferable skills that we have been talking about for the entire semester. So things like communication and problem solving. And it really just allows them to kind of have fun and decompress at the end of the semester while also figuring out, where things are at on campus. Maybe they haven't ever been to the Writing Center before. Maybe they don't know where my office is, or they had trouble finding it previously, and so now it's a little bit easier to find, or things like that. And so it can be really helpful just to kind of like get acclimated to the psychology major and to where everything is at. A lot of the students that take this course are freshmen who maybe aren't as familiar with psychology specific courses and kind of our buildings, our areas. But it just, again, it helps them to get acclimated to the major and to the resources in kind of a fun way that helps them to stay engaged. I also just want to add that typically about half of the groups complete this this activity, but as long as they come back and I can tell that they've really tried to complete the activity, they usually get credit for it. And so I don't know that I mentioned this to begin with, but each group will start off a different place. They'll all have the same clues, but in a different order, so that they don't end up the same place at the same time. And so it kind of spreads them out. My classes are really large that I use this with, so usually they're between 70 and 100 students. And so I don't want all 100 students at the same place at one time, especially at the end of the semester in some of those more quiet areas and things like that. But usually it turns out really well, and students have fun and end up enjoying this activity. I do also have an online version that is fully through Google Forms or Microsoft Forms. I've used it both ways. And so it allows students that maybe are absent or are unable to kind of participate to be able to still kind of have a fun activity at the end of the semester. With that said, I'm really happy to share some of these resources with you and help you create your ciphers and things like that. So if you want to reach out, I'm happy to help. Thanks so much for watching today.